Hello, everybody. This is going to be different. This is our rules meeting for parents and for athletes too. And this year we're going to do it online. I'm sending this document to you also through Remind, but I just want to talk about a few things. Let's just get started. I know the really important things you want to hear about COVID, but let me go over the first few things about the season. Okay, our first day is August 3rd. Of course, it's Monday. And make sure that we have the final forms all completed. Most people have those done. There's a few students who haven't signed their individual things. Everybody's physical was up to date last time I checked. Um, I think all the parents' information was done. There are a few students who just haven't done their sign in. Now, in the beginning of the season here, we're going to go with 2 practice times. And now, when I say 2 practice times, that's just to make sure that we can accommodate for, of course, band, who have band week this week, band camp this week, and also we have some work schedules. And I think this will help out everybody. We're trying to be flexible. We're trying to make things work. The first practice of the day will be at 8 a.m., and that's what time we've been meeting anyway. And we're going to meet down there at the Harrison Smith Park at the Curly Slide, just like we've been doing. We'll also have a second practice, and this will be at 6:30 p.m. All right, now the band schedule is changing all the time. Kids are here, the kids are there, so this way we'll be able to accommodate no matter what happens. The rule is that you have to be at least one of these practices each day. So it doesn't matter if you come to the AM or the PM. You don't have to tell me ahead of time. I'll just check you off when you're there. Um, if you want to run both sessions, and we have done something like this in the past, if you want to run both sessions, you may. You can come in and run both if you want to. If you are going to do both sessions, though, I'll probably change what you're doing in the second session depending on how long you've been running and your ability. I just don't want anybody to get hurt from overtraining. So if you say you're a beginner and you run our first session with us in the morning, the second session maybe I'll have you do like a walk jog thing. If you're older, say you're a senior boy and you come and you run 4 or 5 miles with us in the morning, whichever one you choose to do there, I'm not going to let you run 5 miles again then that night. That's just too much. Uh, 8 is the upper limit, and I don't know if we want to go there. So we're gonna limit you if we can. Uh, I'm not saying that I don't want you to come to both of them, because if you want to and you want to get in shape a little quicker, but we are going to be cautious with you because we don't want to force uh, cause any undue overuse injuries this early. Um, okay, meeting at the Curly Slide. Now, these rules that I have on here, of course, these rules are the same rules that I have every year. So if you've been with me for a few years, there we go. I wouldn't scroll for a second. Uh, it's the same thing. Just be on time. Make sure that you let me know if there's any conflict. I'm pretty flexible, and we can always make out some arrangement if we have to. If you just miss, or there's no reason for missing, or then we'll have to take and do something. But that rarely ever happens. Uh, just make sure when you come to time you're focused and you're ready to go, so we can get into our run and get it done. And Also, we want to be respectful of our teammates and our opponents, and the kids on this team are pretty good at that. We are representing Upper Sandusky, and so we take pride in that, and we want to have a good image in our league and, of course, in other things around the state. Now, work, detentions, Wednesday schools, and I guess it's Thursday schools now, or Tuesday, Thursday. Those aren't excused absences. You'll have to make those days up if you miss something. Again, I'm gonna try to work with you, but you have to be at practice. Um, if you can't because maybe a doctor's appointment, something like that, just tell me or text me, either one. But don't tell your friend to tell me because that friend never tells me and I don't know where you are and we have to and the whole team's waiting around for someone who was supposed to be there and it's just it's we just want to avoid that situation. Um, Here we have something. If you have too many unexcused misses and you don't make them up, we might have to hold you out of a meet, and that happens. Oh, every year someone starts late. We have to have 10 complete practices even before you're allowed to run a meet. That's the state rules. But if you're missing practice, we'll hold you back. Also, if you're not able to finish a workout, and I'm not just talking about one day you feel bad and you don't think you can finish. I'm talking about uh, in the whole as it's going and you're progressing, you're still not able to run a 5K completely. We're not going to let you run the race yet. We're going to wait until you're physically capable of running a 5K before I force you to do it. And so you should be able to jog at least a 5K in practice without stopping or walking if you expect to be able to race one. Okay, so those are the rules that we talk about all the time. Now, all right, so the red, of course, the red is going to be our COVID rules that we had to put in there. And I just added these to the old rules. So meet expectations. The state is going to come out with some more guidelines. They have some things set up right now, but I don't think that is really, it hasn't been approved by the health departments and things like that. But the cross country coaches have come up with some guidelines. I won't talk about those yet. We'll wait to see how things pan out. But I do know this from our school. They always expect the athletes to ride the bus, right, to and from the meets. Now, from the meets, we're going to talk about that in a second. And in the past, we've had people who were late and missed the bus, and we stopped letting them race, right? So if you miss the bus in the morning, you're not going to race that day. Okay? Now, here's another school rule. This is brand new, and this is not from me. This is from the higher ups, but we have to follow this. When we're on the bus, we have to wear a mask. So that includes the coaches. And Brad and I have been talking about our bus stuff. So I'm sure something's going to change, and we'll have that all figured out before too long. Okay, let's see here. Okay, now at the meet, we expect you to stay and watch your teammates and cheer for your teammates. That's just our normal thing. But we also have to follow the social distancing guidelines while we do this, right? You're supposed to be 6 feet apart at all times. And we just have to follow that. If you're not 6 feet apart or you can't stay 6 feet apart, you have to wear a mask. So as long as you're out, and that's just the rules as we have it right now at school. I don't know if the state's going to change these rules, but if you can stay 6 feet apart and you're doing physical activity, you don't have to wear a mask. But I don't know about the meet rules yet. We'll find out more about that later. When we're at the camp, make sure, or at the meet, we always clean up the camp and have a little talk. So make sure everybody's there to help clean up, because cleaning up is important, and you don't leave it just to one person to do all the work. All right, now here's our rule exception there. Athletes may ride home with one of their parents after the meet, but after we're done with our races. And it depends how spread out the day. I mean, it may not be a camp tear down, but most of the time people stay and watch everybody compete, and at least the people on our team. Okay? So those are the rules for that. Now, as we go to practice, because of COVID, we have a few new rules here too. And we've been doing these uh, all summer, so this is just the same list that I sent earlier with a few modifications. Um, Athletes should take their temperature before coming to practice or conditioning. Uh, if you have a fever, don't come to practice. If you think you're sick, stay home. Just text me, let me know. Um, Bring your own water, and we cannot share water bottles. Try to maintain the 6 foot social distancing as much as we can. Wash or use hand sanitizer before and after practice, right? And I have that big bottle of spray. So if you touch something there, if you touch something at practice, spray your hands. Or when you get there, if you want to spray your hands, it's always on that table, right? And we're just going to meet at the park because we're always outside that way. All right. Try not to arrive more than 10 minutes early. It just reduces our time out there uh, where we have the social distance. So if we can come later, I know that seems against anything we've ever talked about, but if you can come right at the time or within 10 minutes of before we run, that would be great. Now, this is from the school too. Masks are not mandatory during outdoor physical activity. So my plan is that while we're there, we will be doing outdoor physical activity. We'll be outside, we'll be doing activity. So don't get there a half hour early because then, that's not really outdoor activity, physical activity. And when we go back to school, if we're inside the complex or on the bus or anytime we cannot follow the social distancing guidelines, we have to wear a mask. So if we can stay outside, if we can stay outside and stay 6 feet apart, we won't have to wear masks. Okay, that's the little catch there. All right, letter requirements, same as it's been for 27 years. Top 7 runners in at least half of the meets. Now, I always leave myself a little coach's discretion because you never know, you never know if, I'm not going to stick by exactly that. If I think someone else deserves a letter, they're going to get a letter. This is just the top 10. So if you want to get on the top 10, boys, all you have to run is a 16:44. And girls, if you can run a 20:12, you can get on the top 10. All right. Okay, if you haven't signed up, well, if you haven't signed up for this, you might not get this message anyway. But if you haven't signed up for the remind, you just do what that picture says, and that'll set you on the list. Okay, now this is usually where I start the meeting, the time schedule stuff. Oops, let me get here. All right, so things you have to do. Sign up for Remind, all right? Same as that last page. There's going to be a lot of repeating stuff on this. If you want to see pictures of your races, we have a great Facebook page. It has all sorts of pictures from the last, I don't know how many years. But people upload the pictures, and if you go to a meet, you take pictures, you can upload them on there too. That way everybody can see and everybody can share. Most people have done this already, and the people that haven't, I've already contacted them. But sign up for your final forms, and let's see, and make sure your physical is current. There's a few people whose physicals are going to expire within cross-country season. Final forms will send a message out to you to let you know. Okay, it will remind you. August 3rd, Monday. That's this Monday. Session 1, 8 o'clock, 9:15 at the latest, right? I know the kids like to hang out, so 9:15 at the latest. We'll be done running, especially this early in the season, before 9:15. As the season gets a little bit longer into it, we start doing some more speed work type things. It may last a little longer than that, but for right now, it will probably be done by 9. The second session. The second session starts at 6:30, and I put 7:45 there also, but it'll probably be done by 7:30. And if they're doing 2 sessions, they probably won't last till 7:30. We just don't want to overwork everybody. You have to. I already said this. 1 session per day. You can do 2 if you want. And we're going to stay at Harrison Smith Park at the Curly Slide at least until school starts. I'm just trying to social distance us from the rest of the teams also. I've already talked about these COVID rules. Make sure that if you're sick, you don't come to practice. Okay. Times. Dates. Important things. August 6th, and that is Thursday. It's picture day. And we're going to meet at the complex. I probably should change that since it's can't go inside anyway. But we'll meet at the complex area, and probably outside on those benches. And then our pictures are scheduled for the soccer field. So I'll make sure everybody is uniformed up before this, and I'll do that this week. But our pictures are 10 a.m. on Thursday, or 10 a.m. or 10:15, somewhere around there. They're usually pretty close to schedule. And then what we have done in the past, so you don't have to keep coming up to town and back and forth, we will practice at this time. If you can't make this time, there's always another session, but let me know what's happening. So let's practice after pictures. I think my pencil just went dead. So we'll practice after pictures. What's going on there? On those days. Okay. Now, the school has some guidelines for these pictures. Face coverings will be required for all athletes and coaches at our fall sports picture day. You have to wear the face mask up until the time the pictures are taken. So bring a mask. The boosters are buying us some masks, but they are not going to be here before that. And so bring a mask to wear, and then during the picture you can take that off, and then when we're around everybody else, we'll put that mask back on. But we're going to run right after that, and then so if you want to run in your uniform or you want to change into something else, that's fine. Okay, now the rest of this stuff is kind of up in the air. So the Ram Rumble is scheduled for August 20th. Scheduled for August 20th. But again, they do not know if they're really going to have that or not. School starts September 8th, and we will practice the normal time, 3 to 4:30. The banquet's on there too. Football concession stand, they do not have the schedule out yet. They're waiting to see what the state says about football. And so we will need volunteers if they have football. But right now I do not know a date. Okay, now, so that's all that information. That's as best that I can tell you. So there's not a lot of new things. It's just the same kind of stuff we've done in the past, except for these COVID rules. Okay, now, here's our schedule. And I haven't passed this out yet until right now, and there's a reason. Because this schedule is going to change. For instance, The Tiffin Carnival has been officially canceled already. Now, we're looking for other meets to go to during these times. It may be just dual meets, it may be tri meets, it may be smaller meets, but the mega meets aren't going to happen this year. Uh, our meet, the Icebreaker, is pretty much done. It's not going to be a meet this year. It has not been officially canceled yet, but 99% chance it will be. The health department has already been in contact with us. All right. So that is the information that I have so far. I do not know what's going to happen to these meets. Hopefully, uh, if these big meets are canceled and every meet we go to is a big meet, we will be able to have dual meets or tri meets, and we'll get stuff figured out. Uh, Hopefully they get that stuff figured out, and the state wants to have cross country, and we're going to keep going as long as we can, but we do have to follow their guidelines. So hopefully by the end of the season, we are allowed to do these districts and regions and state, and that is about it. So if you have any questions, text me. I know that I probably missed something because usually at this meeting, we learn more from the questions you guys ask than what I already have on the paper. So if you have any questions, text me, ask me. If I do not know the answer, I will find out as soon as I can. I'll give you the best answer I can, and I will check with the higher ups and see if my answer is close to being right. But so you can text me if there's some questions that I think everybody should hear and know the answer to. I will be in contact and either send an email out or go back on the remind and explain things that I missed. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day.